The rich do not think in terms of money. They think in terms of assets. Let's look at this Black's Law Dictionary of the word assets. The word, though more generally used to denote everything which comes to the representatives of a deceased person, yet is by no means confined to that use, but has come to signify everything which can be made available for the payment of debts, whether belonging to the estate of a deceased person or not. Hence, we speak of the assets of a bank or other moneyed corporation, the assets of an insolvent debtor, and the assets of an individual or private co-partnership. And we always use this word when we speak of the means which a party has. I'm going to emphasize that. We always use this word when we speak of the means which a party has, as compared with his liabilities or debts. If you know anything about our monetary system, we have debt notes. So the only way to have real monies is through assets. Let's look at a etymology dictionary definition of the word assets. At first, a legal word meaning sufficient estate to satisfy debts and legacies, it passed into a general sense of property, especially, quote, any property that theoretically can be converted to ready money by the 1580s. So, what does this tell us? This means that the 1%, or people who are really good at wealth management, are thinking in terms of assets. Because again, our whole monetary system is based on debt notes. And so in order to be rich, you have to be asset rich. And believe it or not, one of the most accessible assets to anyone is life insurance. Stick with me here. There are a lot of assets out there. Anything can be an asset, because when you start to structure it properly, ideally what you're doing in order to battle jurisdiction is put it in a trust. So let's talk about jurisdiction really quickly. Yes, you can, use the debt notes, the money, to get assets, right? You acquire assets, which can be translated into ready money. However, you have to be smart about it, and this is what the wealthy do, is they protect those assets by putting it in a different jurisdiction. This is where trust law comes in, okay? Because trust law trumps all other laws. Trust law trumps jurisdiction, it trumps contract law, it trumps procedure, it trumps anything you can think of. It's the highest form of law that there is, because it comes from God. We won't get into that. However, this is where it's so important that not only in order to think at a higher level, that you are thinking in terms of assets, acquiring those assets, and then protecting those assets properly by placing them in a trust and making sure that they are, accumulating tax-free if it's something like a life insurance policy. And that's really what the name of the game is. In a way, if you think about it, there's a war on assets, on properly structuring your estate, which consists of different assets, and the protections that go with those assets to keep them out of the grubby hands of the jurisdiction of the government, right? Who like to get all in there, once you pass away and get into probate court and all this stuff, right? That's what we try to avoid and protect against. So if you're ready to start thinking at this level, I am actually, believe it or not, a financially licensed agent. And I do help with these things, with acquiring assets, wealth management, and trusts, estate planning, things like that. So I do have resources for that, and I also help with that. So if you're interested, there is a form that is at the link in my bio that you can fill out. It's called a financial team inquiry form that I have for anyone that is interested in getting more into that and getting a world-class financial education, because once you start learning these things, a lot of the sovereignty information that you're learning starts to make a lot more sense, because it's like now there's a structure to all of it. It's like, okay, these are the processes that people go through using those concepts, using trust law, and getting themselves set up to protect their assets and pass them on properly to their descendants.